am in love. I talk about it all the time. I talk to my friends about it. I talk to my roommates about it. I share way too many details with strangers. I show them weird pictures. I'm practically shouting it from the rooftops. I'm totally and utterly in love with things. And by things, I mean the clothes you're wearing, the chair you're sitting in, the pen you're holding. I mean everything you touch and everything you see. Because to me, things aren't just things. Today, I want to share my love of things. I want to share why I think things are so important to me and to you. Because things have impacts that are far greater than what we think of when we just think of things. Things created our past. They made us who we are today. They're shaping our every moment in the present, and they're creating the future. And the building of things, the act of physically creating things, has the power to transform lives. I spent a lot of time working in Stanford's product realization lab. This is a place where you can build pretty much anything you can imagine. You can find every tool you could ever dream of, and you can do things like 3D printing, laser cutting, injection molding, silversmithing. This fall, I tried welding for the first time, and I was completely hooked. So, while many of my business school classmates were spending their time pursuing high-tech endeavors, really taking advantage of our location in Silicon Valley at the GSB, I spent night after night doing something much more low-tech, dressed like this. So, working at the Product Realization Lab has changed how I dress, but more than that, it's changed how I look at the world. In many ways, I was disconnected from the things around me. Things magically appeared on shelves, and I bought them, took them home, used them, broke them, and then went back to the same stores and bought new things that magically appeared on the same shelves. I was disconnected from the materials, from how they were made, and from what they meant for me. But when I'm welding or working in the wood shop, when I'm covered in sawdust or steel shavings, I think about these things differently. The more time I spend building things, the more I appreciate them, the more I appreciate the world. Because things aren't just things. And things have never been just things. From the first moment, our distant ancestors chose certain stones and pounded them with other stones to create the first tools. These things have been influencing where we live, how we communicate, who we talk to, and even our physical bodies. Research indicates that the way the bones in our hands are shaped today is a direct result of the original tools we built. So we developed our opposable thumbs and our metacarpal structure that has strength and dexterity to reflect these original tools. And from this first moment in time, things have been creating and defining societies. Cultures are remembered by the things that they build. It's things that create culture. Things create fashion, art, architecture, music, and technology. Things create the world. Because things aren't just things. And today, we're surrounded by so many things that are impacting what we do, how we feel, how we think. And some are playing a larger role in your experience right now, like your chair. Do you notice your chair? How does it feel? Is it the right height? Is it the right amount of cushion? Is it making you want to sit up straight or kind of slouch down? How is that in turn affecting your experience right now? And how are all the other things in this room impacting how you feel right now? And all of these things were built by someone or something somewhere. The internet does a great job of connecting us across the world, but these things, they physically connect us with the people who built them. On these desks, we're connected to the people who extracted the oil to make the laminate for the top, to the steel workers who extruded the steel tubing for the legs, the factory workers who kept the production lines running, the crew on the ship who brought it to us, the interior designer and the architect who chose this specific desk for this specific room in this orientation. Everything is a story of connections and of people. Because things aren't just things. And this brings me to the future. The things we build help us grow and advance and learn and evolve. And just like the things in our past and our present create who we are today, the things in the future will influence where we go and what we do. It's hard to say exactly how, but what we do know is that we're moving further and further from building these things ourselves. We're doing more and more of our designing on screens, interacting in a virtual world. We're becoming disconnected from manufacturing. Schools are dropping home economics and shop classes, and we're losing the basic building skills that generations before us had. And there's so many great things that happen in the virtual world, so much beautiful design. But today, I want to ask you to not forget about building in the physical world. Because building things with your hands has serious benefits. It engages your mind in a way that the virtual world just cannot. Research shows that when we move our hands to build things, our brains are flooded with dopamine and serotonin. And these are two neurotransmitters that are linked with, higher levels of these are linked with lower depression and mood disorders. And when we move our hands rather than other parts of our bodies, we actually release more dopamine and serotonin. And there are other benefits that are less measurable but still very real. Making things engages both hemispheres of your brain, which can improve focus. And building things allows you to feel a sense of usefulness and control in a world that can often feel abstract and out of control. And if we do all of our designing on screens and all of our iterating in PowerPoint, we run the risk of losing this. And we run the risk of kids losing this. Too much time in front of screens has been linked with obesity, irregular sleep, and behavioral problems in children. On the other hand, building things has ties to higher student engagement and graduation rates. In California, students who took shop classes graduated at higher rates, they performed better on high school exit exams, and they were more likely to pursue a post-high school education. The National Science Foundation found that students who studied engineering using hands-on building techniques learned more than their peers who studied using books and lectures. And when other creative programs such as art are cut from schools, these schools see increased vandalism and delinquency. Because building things allows kids to feel a sense of control. They learn how to try and fail and then try again when glue won't hold or a joint won't stick. They learn how to actually put a theory into practice. And they learn about persistence and initiative, which are two things that studies show may be more closely linked to success than intelligence. And they get to come home from school and say, I made this. I believe it is critical to provide learning opportunities that are not driven by a mouse or a screen or an imaginary world built from pixels. I want kids and us to see the world around us, to touch the world around us, and to create the world around us. Because things aren't just things. So the good news is, it's so close. This world is right at our fingertips. Maybe, after hearing me today, you want to learn to weld. That is so exciting. Please, come with me. Come to the Product Realization Lab, or go to a tech shop, or look online for classes in your community. And you can start small, too, and still see the effects of building. You can write a handwritten letter, or make your own jewelry or pottery, or take a stab at fixing that broken chair leg. It's not going to get any more broken. And when you sign your kids up for classes in sports and music, there might also be programs that teach fashion design or how to build robots. So after today, you might not start welding, you might not start building your own furniture or making your own soap, but I would invite you to take a moment to look at the things around you, to touch the things around you, and to think about what they mean for the world. Because I'm totally in love with things. Because things aren't just things.